Hey everybody, it's AJ, and I just wanted to make a really quick video today on how I repaired my Godox WB400P batteries, or Flashpoint alternatives. Now, just a disclaimer on this is what I did, it's what worked for me. I'm by no means recommending you try this or saying this is going to absolutely work. I'm definitely not an expert. This is just the process I used to get my batteries working again. All right, so here I've got a Godox WB400P and a Flashpoint FPPX400 PRB. They're the same battery. Flashpoint, I think, is Adorama's private label for these batteries. And the issue that I've run into with these batteries sometimes is if you let the battery discharge too far, the charger will no longer charge the battery. So here's a fully functioning battery. It works just fine. I plug it in and you can see the charger is doing its thing. It's charging it up. Just have a little bit to go on this. Everything's working just as it should. Now this Godox battery here that I've got, we're gonna plug this in and we're gonna see what happens. So when we plug this in, we notice nothing is happening. We've got the power light. We have obviously got power going to the battery, but it's not actually charging the battery. So what is going on here is this battery was discharged below a certain voltage and it's no longer able to take a charge from the charger. All right, so we're gonna need a couple of tools to get this working again. Obviously the battery itself. We're gonna need a small Phillips head screwdriver, a multimeter. Just about any multimeter should do. We're using just the multimeter to check and monitor the voltage during the charging. And then lastly, some sort of bench power supply. So I've got this one here. It's just a cheap bench power supply here. And we're just going to use this to apply some voltage to the battery. All right, so let's get started. The first step we're going to do is to flip the battery on its back, and we're going to carefully remove these 4 Phillips head screws. Set those aside to save place, don't want to lose those. All right, now with those screws removed, we're gonna flip that battery over, and I find if I just kind of pull on the pins here, we can carefully get that battery out of the shell. We're gonna set that to the side. Let's take a look with what we've got here. So on this battery, the actual battery itself made up of a bunch of individual cells. On the inside, we can see that charge indicator from the outside of the case there. There's our charging port. And then here on the side of the battery is where we're going to be doing our work. Now we've got the B- terminal right here and the B+ terminal here. And basically what we're going to do is add some jumpers from our bench power supply and apply voltage with the positive going to our B+ and the negative going to our B- in order to get this charged up and good to go. All right, before we get too far into this, we're gonna use our multimeter to just check the voltage of the battery. So I'm gonna step around here. What we're gonna do is take our black lead and post it to the negative terminal, and our red lead and post it to the B+ terminal. And we can see we're reading 2.5 volts there, roughly. Now this battery pack is supposed to have something like 20 volts to the pack. So obviously we're gonna need to apply some voltage to this to bring it back up to its target voltage. Okay, so now we know where the battery is at right now. We're gonna go ahead and set up our bench power supply. So we're gonna take our black into the negative, red into the positive port. I'm going to turn this on. So I'm going to set this to 20 volts. I've got an amp going in. Got my leads right here. Now what I did here, because I want to be able to monitor this voltage as I go, went ahead and attached my red lead to my red on my multimeter. And we can see here through this mess of cables, I'm gonna just hit output. So we're now putting out voltage here. We're gonna attach our black cable here and our red cable there. So we've got about 14 watts going in. And what I'm gonna do is just bring this up just a little bit here. We're gonna give it just a minute or two applying that negative to the negative post, the positive to the positive post on the back of the battery. And we can see our multimeter is reading closer to 19 volts. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and turn that bench power supply off. We're gonna bring that here, and we're gonna just go ahead and plug our charger in again. We'll see what happens. And we can see now our charger is working. We've got the LEDs lighting up, showing that it's applying a charge. So we were able to use our bench power supply to add that voltage into the battery, bringing it up to a voltage that the charger can actually work with here. And from here, we're just gonna let this charge for a little bit, and hopefully the battery will be good to go in just a couple of hours.